See, we are in a BBA fourth semester, subject of business correspondence and communication. So what is communication? Communication is nothing but sharing of ideas, information, feelings, or opinions. That is what you mean by saying communication. So communication can be formal communication, informal communication. Similarly, communication can be verbal communication or non-verbal communication. Verbal means with words, with writing, or with spoken language. You are going to communicate. That is verbal communication. Non-verbal means only with your emotions, with your facial expressions. You will communicate. That is non-verbal communication. Okay. So formal communication. See, now just before 10 minutes or just before half an hour, I shared the class link in the official WhatsApp group of the college. That is BBA second year or fourth semester group is there. I shared that information regarding today's class in the official group. That is formal communication. Informal means you friends will have separate WhatsApp groups. You will share notes. You will share your opinions about the class or about the lecturers or about your personal life in that group. That is informal. Okay. So formal communication is that communication which passes through predefined channels of communication throughout the organization. From principal sir, message will come to me or other lecturers. Lecturers will communicate to the students officially. That is formal communication. Students among themselves create groups and they will communicate. That is informal communication. So communication moves freely in the organization in informal cases, but in formal means there is a systematic procedure. There will be delay. Okay, did you understand the difference between formal and informal communication? Yes, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now coming to this, the difference or whatever it may be, the differences between formal communication and informal communication. I am opening a web source. This is a web resource. I am opening it. This is already available in the website, in the official website of that particular organization or of that particular group. We have to go to page number 119. Page number 119. In 119, you will have differences between formal communication or informal communication. Okay. So coming to formal communication and informal communication, I hope you understand. Now, barriers to communication. Barriers means whatever that is there, whatever the communicator want to communicate, sometimes he may not be able to communicate it properly. There may be various reasons. See, suppose I want to take class at 9 o'clock, but in my messaging some mistake is there. You are unable to understand. Timing I missed or date I missed, AM or PM I missed. Whether in the morning 9 AM, 9 o'clock or in the evening 9 o'clock, you could not understand. So barriers, sometimes barriers will be there. The barrier implies in a communication failed. Means whatever the person who wants to send a message, the receiver is unable to understand properly. There may be various reasons. See, first reason is the lack of planning. Means whatever the communicator wants to whatever communicator wants to convey, he may not have planned properly his communication medium or his communication message or his resources through which he wants to communicate to others. So lack of planning will be there. In that case, it will become a barrier. Okay. False assumptions means, see, in communication, in any type of communication, normally you have sender and receiver. See, in this communication, I am the sender and you are the receiver. Means you are receiving class information, subject information from me, I am sending that information. So sometimes I will assume that everybody understands my language. I assume that I am using simple language which anybody can understand. It is my assumption. It may be true or may not be true. Sometimes if it is false means you cannot understand properly. I cannot understand whether my message reached you or not. Then ambiguity. What is ambiguity? Lack of clarity. Lack of clarity in my thoughts or in my teaching. In such a case, what happens? You will not be able to understand. Receiver will not be able to understand. Then distortions. Distortions means now you can hear some voices from the road they are coming. So vehicle sounds or whatever utensils sounds in my house. Those sounds are going to cause distortions. Means they are going to cause disturbance to the class. In such a case, the whatever the sender wants to send the information, he will not be able to communicate properly. That is one kind of a barrier to communication. Passing judgments. Next one is passing judgments. The passing judgment means without understanding properly, if I comment on you or without understanding me properly, without knowing me properly, if you presume something about me, then whatever I am teaching you, you may not be able to understand properly. Okay, suppose you are in the final year now. For the first year students, you must have told something about the lecturers who are going to come to their class. It may be about me or about some other lecturer. So without knowing anything about them, the newcomers will have something fixed in their mind. That will not be sometimes good for them. If you told bad about a lecturer, so they will have preconceived conceptions about that lecturer. In that case, reception will not be there. They will not be able to receive the matter that is told by the lecturer in a proper way. Implied meanings. See, sometimes if the message is not properly typed, if the message is not straightforward, then in that case, implied meanings will be there. There will be several meanings. So the receiver will not be able to understand which meaning is to be implied properly. Just now I told, no, 9 o'clock you attend the class I mentioned. Whether it is AM or PM, I did not mention. So in that case, you will be confused. Receivers will be confused. Lack of trust. See, there should be trust between faith between the sender and the receiver. If there is a lack of trust, communication will not be good. Communication barrier will occur with lack of trust. Problem of semantic distortion. Semantic means high level language. If I use, that is semantic. Semantic means not simple language, but it is a very, very difficult language, which is very, very hard to understand. In such a case, whatever the sender wants to send the information, the receiver may not be able to understand. See, I think that I am using simple language. If I use difficult language, higher level English language, then many of you may not be able to understand. So that is a barrier to communication. Did you understand these barriers, or shall I repeat? See, in examination, if it comes barriers to communication, you have to write at least 2 sentences under each side heading. That is enough. 2 side headings. These how many side headings are there? 8 side headings are there. 8 side headings. 2 points you write under each side heading. That will be enough. Did you understand? First of all, you have to mention what communication is. Then you have to mention these barriers to communication. Barriers means difficulty in communicating between the sender and the receiver. These are all the loopholes in a communication. Yes, did you understand?
No, sir, once again repeat
Sir,
what's the
understood,
barrier.
sir.
Okay, I will tell. See, lack of planning. If my planning is not there, my preparation of regarding the subject is not good, I will not be able to communicate to you properly. You will not be able to understand what I told. If I planned properly for communicating in this class, then you will be able to understand. If my planning is not perfect, you will not be able to understand. That is lack of planning. That is a barrier in communication. Okay. Second one. Second one is false assumption. The false assumption means sometimes I will have something assuming about you, means your understanding or your language skill or your subject standard. I will have certain assumptions. I think that you can understand high level English. I start lecturing in a high level English. Then will you be able to understand? That is a question mark, because some of you may not possess that many good skills regarding English language. So that is a false assumption on my part. In such a case, you will not be able to understand. Then ambiguity. Ambiguity means lack of clarity. In my thought, in my lecture, if there is no clarity, then the receiver, I am the sender here, the receiver may not be able to receive properly. That is ambiguity. Then distortions. Distortions means any noises may be there. Now I am taking online class. See, in online, maybe because of your data limitations, you may not be able to listen continuously. There may be some sound coming from your background or from my background. That is distortion. Okay. Distortion means some noisy things which take place in the communication between two individuals. Okay. Passing judgments. Okay. Passing judgment means already you have some preconceived notions about me, whether I am a good lecturer or a bad lecturer. Something you will have in advance. You have that notion about me. So in that case, even if I teach, if you have a bad feeling about me, even if I teach excellently, you think that my teaching is not good, because you have certain judgments in your mind already, preconceived notions. So implied meanings, sometimes, see, for a single word, several meanings may be there. So those correct meaning, whatever I want to tell you, that correct meaning you should take. If you take other meanings, then communication will be distorted. Just now I told 9 a.m. At 8:30 in the morning, I sent a message. You joined the class at 9 o'clock. I missed AM or PM in my message. So in that case, my implication is at 8:30 in the morning, I sent a message, means at 9 in the morning only you will join the class. That is implied. But some of you may think that every day sir is taking it during the night time. So we will join at night 9 o'clock. So there will be a problem. So that is implied meaning. Then a lack of trust. The receiver should trust the sender should trust the receiver. If there is no trust, if there is no faith, then communication will not take place nicely. Problem of semantic distortion means, semantic means using of high level language. If you are unable to understand simple English, I cannot expect you to understand high level English language. Even though I know that your standard of English is very low, if I use high level language, then you will not be able to understand. That will be a problem in communication. So these are the 8 barriers in communication. Yes, did you understand? If in the examination, if barriers to communication or barriers in communication comes, you have to define communication, and you have to write barrier means communication failure, and you have to write these 8 side headings with at least 2 sentences under each side heading. Yes, is it clear? See, this is also already it is in a website. That is website is India Free Notes. Okay. In that one, I just now explained previously 10 minutes ago, non-verbal communication and verbal communication. See, non-verbal communication implies gestures, facial expressions, tone of voice, eye contact, body language, posture, and other ways with the help of which people communicate without using a language. See, I think that some of you must have seen Charlie Chaplin movies. Did you see? Did anybody see Charlie Chaplin movies? Yes? Did you see Charlie Chaplin movies? They are movie movies. There will not be any speech, there will not be any language, but we can understand it quite clearly. So that is non-verbal. Okay, that is non-verbal communication. Okay, non-verbal communication means with the help of facial expressions, with the help of body movements and posture, with the help of gestures, eye contact, touch, space, voice. These are the various means with which, these are the various types of in which non-verbal communication takes place. Okay, by listening to my voice, you can understand whether I am angry or whether I am cheerful. What is the nature of me, you can understand with my facial expression, with my gesture. With gesture means my signing. You come here or you go out. Without speaking, I will indicate with my hand, with my finger. You can understand. Okay. The characteristics of non-verbal communication. This is important. See, no use of words in non-verbal communication. Usage of words is not going to be there. Only facial expressions, eye contact, physical proximity. Proximity means closeness, nearness, touching will be there. Okay, culturally determined. See, we Indians have a different culture regarding our communication system, non-verbal communication system. What we do whenever an elder person comes, whether if he is a knowledgeable person, means with folded hands we will welcome. Foreigners means they will hug, they will kiss. That is quite natural for them. So even without using words, they will express by hugging other person. It may be female or male, they will simply kiss. In some western countries you can find it. So non-verbal communication depends on the culture that a person is brought up, born and brought up. So different meanings will be there with non-verbal communication. See, by looking at my face, I am not using words, no. One of you may think that I am angry, another person from you may think that I am friendly, I am very cheerful that day. So different meanings can be conveyed with the help of non-verbal communication. Again, in the different meanings also, some of you may perceive me as friendly on that particular moment, or some of you may perceive me as angry at that particular point of time. Vague and imprecise. See, non-verbal communication will be sometimes vague. Vague means not clear, it is not precise. Okay, there is a lack of clarity because I am not using mouth, I am not using words, I am simply using my gestures and my body positions I am going to use. So it will not be clear. So similarly, non-verbal communication, I already mentioned, no? Non-verbal communication refers to gestures, facial expressions, tone of voice, eye contact, body language, posture, and other ways with the help of which we can communicate with others. Okay, in this one, facial expressions will be there. These are the various types of non-verbal communication. With the help of facial expressions, we can say, with the help of body movement and posture, with the help of gestures, with the help of eye contact, with the help of touch, with the help of space, with the help of voice, increasing voice or ooh ah, like that. You can see here ooh ah. When I am teaching, if you say ooh ah, means I can understand that you are not satisfied with my lecture. Okay, so there you did not utter any word, but simply with your voice I can understand. So these are the characteristic features of non-verbal communication. This is important. In non-verbal communication, usage of words is not going to be there. Only simply body language, facial expressions, culturally determined. Just now I mentioned, no, our culture is different from Western culture. We fold hands whenever we see elderly persons or learned intellectuals. They will kiss, they will hug. Okay, so non-verbal communication depends on the culture. Then different meanings will be there. We can express different in different ways our communication, non-verbal communication. And the problem is you can understand in different ways. Some of you may think that I am very angry, some of you may think that I am very friendly, cheerfully on that particular day, because I am not communicating with you verbally, only my facial expression. So different meanings can be conveyed. It is vague and imprecise. Vague means it is not clear, because in verbal communication means we will use words, sentences. In non-verbal communication, we will not use any sentences, words. So it will be vague. Sometimes, if the communicator is not properly trained or not properly oriented, what happens is verbally he is saying something, but his facial expressions will be something else. Come here, I will mention, but on my face you can see that I am not happy with your coming into my house. So sometimes the verbal message may conflict with non-verbal communication, largely unconscious. See, whatever we are doing, whatever non-verbal communication we are involved in, sometimes consciously we will do, sometimes unconsciously. Without 100% of knowledge of what we are doing, we will be involved in that. Okay, that is unconsciousness. So generally, we will show our feelings and attitudes with the help of non-verbal communication. You take the newborn child, just a months old baby. He will not be able to communicate verbally. With his body gestures, with his with his facial expression, you can understand that he is ready to defecate, he is ready to urinate, he is hungry. So his feelings, his attitude towards mother or father or very close relative, you can understand with his facial expression, with his or her. So these feelings or attitudes can be easily understood with the help of non-verbal communication. Normally, in informal usage, we will use more of a this non-verbal communication. Means informally means in our house, with our parents, with our siblings, we will use non-verbal communication. They can easily understand our facial expression or what we want, what we require from them. Immediately they can understand. But in a class, if I simply stand and I think that you understood everything, means it is not correct. In a class, I have to use verbal communication more. I have to teach, I have to use words, sentences only, then you can understand. So these are the characteristic features of non-verbal communication. Okay, already notes is very sharp. These side headings along with notes you have to write, but first of all you have to define non-verbal communication. These are the various types of non-verbal communication. These put as points, and these side headings you write in full. If at all that is, this question is asked in examination. Is it clear? Already there in the website of this organization. See, I started this class with formal communication and informal communication. Okay, now we will come to know about the differences between formal communication and informal communication. Okay, formal communication I mentioned, no, in the organization structure, it will be a part of the organizational structure. Suppose let us take for example, so this is class I started with the communication. What is the meaning of communication? This is already in a particular organization's website. The differences between formal communication and informal communication. See? Now these are the differences between formal communication and informal communication. See, in every organization, formal communication will be there, informal communication will be there. I told you in our college, you take the case of principal. From principal sir, message will come to vice principal sir. From vice principal sir to all the lecturers, message will go. From all the lecturers to students, message will go. To the non-teaching staff, it may be clerk, it may be attender, it may be sweeper, it may be scavenger, message will go. This is formal communication. For formal communication. Non-formal communication or informal communication means among the lecturers, they will have separate WhatsApp groups, a separate communication medium based on their what you call their the languages, their areas, their subjects, or their sex, or based on their region, based on their religion, likewise. So that is informal communication. So in formal communication, what happens? Rules will be very strict. So strict rules and regulations will be imposed in formal communication. Whereas in informal communication, there is no strict rule. So anybody can send a message to anybody in a informal communication. Okay. Then coming to recognition. See, this communication requires official recognition in organizations. So, see, that is why, see, Aditya requested me in the evening, in the night time, sir, please make me also as admin. I want to post some valuable notes in the group. Because say in the official group, whatever communication is sent, it will be official normally. So only officials will be made as admins, and strict monitoring will be there regarding messages. Whereas in case of informal communication, there is no such hard and fast rule. Okay, any official recognition is not required in case of informal communications. Okay, flexibility. It is inflexible. Formal communication you cannot change easily. It is very rigid. Strict rules are going to be there. Whereas in informal communication, it is very flexible. It can be easily changed. Okay, messages can be easily changed. Messages can be easily communicated. Secrecy. Okay, so secrecy is maintained in formal communication. Whatever principals are told to vice principals are, we do not know. Whatever vice principals are conveyed to another lecturer, I do not know. But in informal communication, it is open to all. So there is no secrecy. Okay, your friends group is there. There is no secrecy maintained. You will chat about your personal things also in your friends group. But in official group, you will not share anything. Whether you went to movie, whether you watched any video, or whether you enjoyed with your friends or relatives during Dasara vacation, you will not share in the official BBA group. But in your friends group, you will share. There is no secrecy in informal communication. Okay, time and cost. Normally in formal communication, it takes much time and cost. See, I mentioned the hierarchy from principals are to message to come to students means it takes a lot of time. But in informal communication means all are going to be there on the same branches. So immediately message can be passed. So there is no time involved. Within a lesser span of time with less cost, messages can be communicated. Okay, record keeping. So every record will be kept nicely in a formal communication system. Whatever is communicated from principals or to vice principals or from vice principals or to students, neatly it will be filed for further reference. Whereas in a non-formal communication or informal communication, what happens? Permanent record is impossible. So whatever we chit chat privately, personally, there is no record maintained in private chattings. That is informal communication. Errors are mistakes. See, very carefully, messages need to be typed in official communication because it is going to follow strict rules and regulations. So unnecessary things, unnecessary videos, we should not upload in official communication. It is happening in our group, no? Only is related to subject or related to classes or related to examinations or related to scholarship. Only important notices will be shared. So it is going to be taken care of that errors are minimal, mistakes are minimal in formal communication. Very careful attention is given. Whereas it is personal in nature, no? So you need not take that much care. Any video you can upload. Again, you all are friends only. You can immediately say, sorry, it is my personal video I have uploaded. You can delete it immediately. But in official videos, in official channels, you should be very careful. So compulsion. Compulsorily, you have to follow certain rules and regulations in official formal communication. Whereas there is no pressure involved in informal communication. Anybody can send any message, then afterwards you can express your feelings, emotions, or you can say sorry to your friends, sorry for the wrong message. Immediately you can delete it. Okay, so necessity is going to be there in a formal communication. Only if it is necessary, we will communicate. Only simply good morning, good night, good evening. Likewise, messages will not be sent in formal communication. Whereas in informal communication, even personal feelings can be expressed. Good morning, good evening, happy Dasara, happy Ramzan. Everything you can share in informal communication. delegation or authority. So authority can be delegated through formal communication. Authority, so principal sir may communicate to vice principal sir, and the same will be put in a group. So today I am in a leave. So you follow the instructions of the vice principal sir today because I am on leave. Like that, delegation of authority is possible in formal communication, whereas that is not possible in informal communication, because there is no linkage that one is head and one is subordinate in informal communication. All are equals. So there is no authority involved in informal communication. All are friendly. So you need not delegate any authority in informal communication. So these are the differences between formal communication and informal communication. Yes, did you understand? Differences between formal communication and informal communication. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.